So what I'd like to do is hand over to our first presenters, and Annika, Borgstede and Max de Raaf, who are from FeedbackFruits, who are going to give us a bit of a journey through FeedbackFruits and the DoTank, and the way in which institutions can work together to create these new engaging pedagogies for us and the tools to help us do that. So thanks, guys. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Michael. I'm extremely excited to see everyone here on our first Australian Inspiration Day. I am hoping for a very fruitful session indeed, Shia. My name is Annika. I am the International Pilot Manager at FeedbackFruits. And next to me is Max. And Max is gonna talk you through everything that Michael just mentioned on the FeedbackFruits journey.
Yes, thank you for the introduction. And indeed, it's our pleasure to be here today and elaborate a little bit more on FeedbackFruits, which I'm going to do now. I'll take you through what we stand for at FeedbackFruits, what our mission is, why we do what we do, and how we collaborate with universities in the DoTank, as mentioned by Chia. And later on explain a little bit about our journey in Australia. So let me take you through. But first we start with our mission, and our mission is to make every course engaging. And we really want to move away from the passive learning experience that most to all of us here at FeedbackFruits have experienced during our educational career here in the Netherlands. When we started FeedbackFruits, it were our two co-founders in 2012 when they were studying at the Technical University in Delft, where they spotted a challenge, and they built an app to provide feedback directly to lecturers during a lecture on how the lecture was progressing. That app was a huge success within the Technical University of Delft, and we started developing more. And that turned out into a flipping the classroom platform in 2015. After 2015, we started the DoTank collaboration in 2016, and I'll later come back to more details. But then a huge step we took was in 2017, when we decided to be completely LMS compatible and split our platform up in multiple different LMS tools. And then, as Gia mentioned, in 2018, our internationalization adventure actually started. Because we were approached by a number of universities in the US, but also in Australia. And we started operating there, where other universities wanted to join in on the DoTank collaboration. So let's a little bit on our history and our mission. Later on, I would like, in the basically coming 5 minutes, I would like to take you through a little bit more on why we do what we do, how we collaborate in a DoTank, what it is that has been co-created so far, and how we got to this point. So more on the why. As mentioned before, we want to move away from a traditional passive learning experience. And when we're looking at a course design, this is what I mentioned most of us have experienced, with articles to read and lectures to attend throughout the course. And it was the engagement experience that we all had. And we would like to change that by basically adding pedagogical innovation. So removing passive learning experiences with activating learning experience over time. And basically what you're seeing here, those icons, they basically symbolize learning activities that are supported by the tools that have been co-created with our DoTank collaborative universities. So that in the end, over time, we're getting increased student engagement by implementing active learning designs. That's really on why we do what we do, basically to support these students in this way. Now, how then do we collaborate with the universities? We take the EDI framework basically at the heart of explaining this situation, because we realize that instructional designers, learning designers in Australia, and innovative academics, they know how to activate and engage students in their courses. So they're very good at the analyzing and designing part of the EDI framework. However, now developing easy to use learning activities supported by technology, there's where it often lags. So this disconnect in the development and implementation of these new active learning designs, there's where our scope is. And there's where we try to help these academics. Now, how this comes in practice, those new innovative ideas that I mentioned before, they come from the DoTank partners. We gather those ideas, and for example, one from MRTX, from Deakin University. And those ideas we then filter on a set of criteria which are applicable basically to all ideas. And the moment one of those basically green ideas pops up, we start developing it into our EdTech DoTank. It's basically our agile software development process. And now in the end, a new tool erupts. And this tool, or an ingredient to a tool, now basically gets into the shared pool of pedagogical tools, and now is spread out back again into the basically into the community for all partners to use. So as you can see, our DoTank partners are actually vital to the future of our whole community, because without them, we wouldn't be able to develop those new innovative learning activities, where our partners are really at the heart and the core of basically the innovation that we are trying to spread. All right, so what is it about this innovation? Currently, we have basically co-created 8 LMS tools, and those LMS tools, they focus around basically 4 course design teams. I'm not going to take you through all of them, since we have many speakers here today who will actually share their best practices. But I'll give you a small overview. Our first course design team is all around feedback, and then feedback either from peers or from experts. Activating study material is all about enriching study material like articles, documents, podcasts with a collaborative learning experience. Interactive classrooms is about a synchronous learning experience where we try to activate students during lectures, either being an online or offline. And the discussion theme is really focused on a more open-ended learning format, where students are really focused on discussions and collaborating with each other on certain topics. And these are names of the tools that have been co-created so far, but many aren't here yet, since they are still in a collaboration phase. Looking at the time, I'm going to take you through how we got to this point in Australia. But before that, I would like to take you through our global community. This is what we're looking at throughout the world. We obviously have a large presence in Europe, with here in the Netherlands about half of our community. Then also in Australia, in the US, we have established our first partners, and obviously in Australia, where we're seeing large interest from a number of universities. Because this is what we're looking at. We started in 2017, and we are now in a DoTank partnership with Chia, as mentioned. And at the same time, for 2020, we have 7 confirmed pilots with these universities. And at the same time, several universities in Australia, but also now in New Zealand, since a few months, are testing with our tools to see if they can be implemented over the coming semesters. Now, in terms of a timeline, I'd like to take you through how this all started. We were first contacted by Victoria University, basically back in half of 2017. And after some initial testing, actually started our first pilot with Deakin University in early 2018. That was also the moment that I personally joined FeedbackFruits. So I was very excited about that first adventure that we were embarking on when I joined FeedbackFruits.
I think you're back.
Oh, I was muted for some reason. Hope that everybody can still hear me. Looks okay. So then in 2019, we started our DoTank partnership with Deakin, where already so many new innovations came forward, but I'm sure that the host from Deakin will explain more about the details. We also went to Australia basically in April of last year, and also in June of last year. And after that, we started a number of pilots, of which one, of course, is with Griffith University, which has been great so far, and we're really excited about next steps that will be coming. And besides that, we have started basically 6 other pilots with a number of universities, which I mentioned before. So what's in the future for us? For the midterm, we'll be starting an office in Melbourne or Sydney, which will be focusing on DoTank development and also, of course, on partner support. And for the short term, we will be coming back to Australia when the epidemic is basically more under control. We're actually supposed to be there in Australia right now, as most of you would know, where we also be looking at basically our first steps into building an office, either in Melbourne or Sydney. I hope this was basically informing for all the people that weren't aware of FeedbackFruits as much as before. If you have any questions, please drop them always in the Q&A box or in the chat, and then we can answer them however it comes. But for now, I'd like to take it over to Joan Sutherland from Deakin to introduce the next speaker.